Debate live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now, we are joined by One Deck, Neil, Sensual Goat, OK Computer, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate 24/7 Politics Discord server. So welcome, one and all.
Hello, let's get it on.
Greetings.
Good morning.
Yo.
Good morning.
Nice to see everybody.
Oh, jolly good. And for those of you in the Discord server, although we have been chatting for a little bit before we started the show, our main endeavour when we come here on a Friday is to promote the notion that as a flat earther, we shouldn't be defending against positions that we aren't making claims about. As a flat earther, you should move forward on the front foot and declare Earth is obviously, observably, measurably flat. That's how it's surveyed, built on, moved around, mapped. That's what we do with Earth. That is unilaterally true for everybody, including globe believers, who derive their globe faith from these flat Earth measurements. So, as I say, and will repeat, if you are a flat earther, don't engage with undoing claims that you haven't made from globe believers or offering up alternative explanations to globe believers' positive claims. Declare that which is true. Earth is measured flat. That's our purpose in being here. Hopefully we'll get that message across as we continue to come on a Friday. If you're in the live stream chat from my audience, we're in Politics Discord server, as I said in the intro. And yeah, that's our home from home now. We've been here quite a while. I'm sure we'll get some globe believers telling us what's what along the process of being here live for the next couple of hours. So yeah, good to be here. Thank you for having me every Friday.
Good to have you here.
Alrighty then. Could also ask some housekeeping questions. Maybe that'll get some ball believers in the mood.
There was this wolf guy that was talking in the chat, but he's saying he was being respectful and didn't want to jump in. He did ask though if he could ask questions, but I don't know what happened to him.
He's still in the chat. I don't think he's in the room.
I'll tell him to
But
jump.
we do have
voice. We're just listening, he says.
Was that you?
Well, while he gathers his
we do.
thoughts, you'll be able to ask him a question, Nathan.
Sure, I'll just shout out Steampunk Punk. Happy Friday, measured flat, have a coffee, says Steampunk Punk. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, that's what we're here for. If someone wants a question, just feel free. I mean, obviously, it's not my server.
Well, we got
to the
a
moderators.
few new people in here. We got Laroon. Seems to be someone that's new to the room. Who else have we got in here that was new? We've got Q, but I have seen Q around before. Any questions, guys? We've got Sam. And ZSEP.
I mean, I thought they'd be all chomping at the bit to put some globe evidence forward.
If they don't, we'll start putting some flat
Maybe-
Earth evidence forward.
Maybe they're all recovering from. It was the 4th of July yesterday. It's pretty hot out on the 4th of July. Maybe everybody's recovering. It's said to be the day that the sun is furthest in its was the aperihelion orbit, giving us the hottest day of the year. Is what it's said to be.
Well, you're going to need a horizontal baseline for that, mate.
Yeah, orbits are derived from angular measurements of the lights in the sky, and then described with respect to the equatorial and extended celestial plane from the centre of a globe Earth that isn't actually used to make this description. So you'll need a flat Earth for orbits.
Oh, that's
What would you say is
ridiculous. It's in the school books all over in every part of the world that we live in a solar system, planets orbit. What are you talking about?
Said that the measurements in the maths come from flat plane measurements of lights in the sky.
Yeah, but the angular size of the sun is smaller, so it has to be further away.
Is it?
That's the
What's the sun
assertion.
again?
It's the sun.
Right, but if we're
Intangible.
It's a lamp.
yeah, it's intangible. If we're going to ascribe physical attributes to how it behaves, then we really need to know it is what we think it is to ascribe those physical attributes. But we don't know that. We have got, or had, when we were on a globe, just so stories about what the sun is. We don't know.
Wait, so it's not a lamp? I'm just checking.
No.
Oh, okay.
That was last
Good morning,
week.
brother.
The lamp guy.
Hey, Chocolate.
Chocolate, somebody was asking about you today. He's in here, just so you know.
Everyone loves chocolate.
You ain't kidding. Especially white chocolate.
That's racist.
This guy likes white chocolate. Well, I'll tell you what, I like black chocolate.
That's a horrible impersonation. Don't leave your day job, whatever you do.
That's a troll. Moderation team are all over it. We're not on our server today, by the way. We're in politics, so we have to be on our best behaviour, guys in my panel.
Earth is now flat.
Yeah,
Anonymous, we'll give you another crack. Just don't jump in like that again, please.
Okay.
It may not be flat. How would you find out if it's flat or not flat?
measure it.
I went to the space.
You went
Saw
to
a
space.
picture.
Did you say you went to space?
Yeah.
That's definitely a lie. So I don't really
How
want to engage with
insensitive.
him. We already know he's a liar.
I heard chocolate chuckle. That's funny.
Yeah, but
So, or it was like a shape, like a ball shape, you know.
I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, buddy. You're saying, what if I went to space and I saw a ball shape? But that's
No,
a fun question, but who knows?
No, I did go to space.
so
Oh,
you're claiming to
we're
be
supposed-
a cosmonaut or an
seriously,
astronaut? What are you claiming to be?
I'm just a normal human being. I just went to space and just came back.
Can we just remove this guy? I just don't want these discussions with liars.
Nathan, that's all I have. What do you expect? We killed them.
Okay, so anybody who claims to have been to space, even if he said, yes, I'm a cosmonaut, and could prove that he was, I'd flat out call him a liar, regardless, because he would be. If he says he's been to a second law of thermodynamics violation, sky vacuum, with gas at high pressure not dispersing into it, violating the second law of thermodynamics, he can automatically be described as a liar. There is no sky vacuum to travel through in rockets and put satellites in orbit in when deriving orbits as a mathematical concept by way of flat Earth measurements. These things are all inconducive with reality.
What if that cosmonaut said that at the pulpit of a very prestigious church?
So we don't believe people when they say that they're from Middle Earth or that they've been to Middle Earth? Is that what I'm hearing here?
Yeah, that's a good comparison. If we're to suggest that there is a Middle Earth because we saw it on the telly, and someone comes along and says they've been there, you know they're a liar instantly if you know the place isn't real and doesn't exist. We normally use Narnia. Someone says oh yeah, I definitely traversed the wardrobe. No, you didn't, you liar. There is no wardrobe to get into a place called Narnia. There is no sky vacuum.
Maybe my mic wasn't working. When I said, even if it's a man standing at a pulpit who was an astronaut and said he was one of the last men to orbit the Earth. He said it at a very prestigious church.
Yeah, he's a liar.
Still a liar?
Yeah, if you're claiming you're somewhere that you can't be, then you're a liar.
Maybe he was in a simulation and he didn't realize it.
Highly unlikely. I don't know why you're making these apologetics, Neil, but fine.
Well, because when I went to Disney World, I went on a ride, and I thought I was in Africa.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, it was a simulation type ride, and you would have thought everything you saw there was real. It was quite amazing.
Okay, fine, I'll take it as read. You could mitigate because these people were put into a simulator and convinced that they were going to a place that doesn't exist. They simulated the wardrobe and the coats being moved out of the way, revealing the snow.
Yeah, like a virtual reality type thing.
If you say so.
So that wouldn't make him a liar. That would make him, he was deceived, right? If that's the case.
I don't care. I really don't care. There's no place for them to go. If they say they've gone, they're lying about going there.
I mean, as a Glober that might be listening to this, right? And your man who spoke up before, that was the first go, right? That was the first thing out the gate. Oh, I went to space and it looked like a globe. How does that hold up for you guys? Does that pass the smell test for you guys? Like, I mean, it's been, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, and that's what we got. I've been to space. Really?
They've got nothing, chocolate. I mean, they're still presenting a boat getting smaller in the distance as it sails away. That is actually evidence of their Earth. That is what they're still using, an observation. Nothing to do with measurement. They don't believe it could be any other possibility, like perspective or angular resolution. It has to be a globe, but they can't measure the globe. And if they do give any evidence of measuring the globe, it definitely will involve an elevation angle, a horizontal baseline, sea level. It won't involve any curvature measurement, and that I will guarantee.
Yeah, they need to measure a flat Earth too. I said that in my opening to the Discord server today. It's a prerequisite for everyone. Earth will be measured flat. If you have a globe belief, you'll measure Earth flat and extrapolate out your globe faith from that flat Earth measurement. That's why it can back engineer itself onto the plane of reference we use for angle measurements to stars. That's why all the maps are flat. They have to be, or they wouldn't function with angle measurements with respect to the plane. They wouldn't work with circles of equal altitude that's plotted on your maps. Maps would not work because the systems come from a flat plane. They have to be flat.
But they do love going up, like Chocolate says, they love going up to Space World into the sky, you know, that takes them away from the fact that they need some actual physical measurement. Yeah, they've got to get away from there because they don't want to talk about that, because as soon as they talk about that, they will be talking about flat Earth measurements. So let's go up in the sky and talk about space. I'll feel a lot safer there.
Well, I
Yeah,
said
well,
that they were going to go back to space as soon as we was killing them with the Earth measured flat. They were going to take it back to space.
I just dropped something in Master B for you as well, guys. Nathan, do what you want with it, but interesting.
Let me get it straight. A guy from the chat wants me to review a video that I've not seen before.
No. Just have a look at the thumbnail.
Black Swan fallacy, what you see is what you get. No, Black Swan fallacy.
Yeah, that's the one.
Why you see what you want to see. That doesn't mean anything. He's going to have to join and verbally tell us what his argument is.
Yeah, yep. That's why I've dropped it here. I've asked him to come on and describe it. He's dropped this in the chat, so I thought I'd just pass it across, and he'd want to come in and give us a bit of a description here of what's going on. Rich, want to run us through your citation?
I've heard of the Black Swan argument, and I've heard of the Black Swan analogy, but I haven't heard of the Black Swan fallacy before. Can someone explain that to me?
No such thing.
Yeah, it's a nothing.
It's Bev's creation, right? Bev's little monster.
I have no idea what you're
Well,
talking
in the
about.
Black Swan, you're clearly seeing the horizon, which they state can be no more than 1.2 times the observer's height in feet squared. Yeah, that's what they're claiming. There's a distance to it at a certain height. The Black Swan clearly shows that that statement is incorrect. Therefore, the Earth is not a globe, and the horizon is not a physical Earth curve blockage.
Well, how do you know how far the horizon is? What gives you the idea that it's not at the distance it's supposed to be at?
Well, the horizon's never been claimed to be a physical location, Neil, except for in something called the globe model. It's defined as an apparent location where the sky appears to meet the surface of Earth, sea level.
In other words, the response to the Black Swan argument that was put out by us is to actually commit the Black Swan fallacy, which, according to this, is basically the Black Swan fallacy is the tendency of people to ignore evidence that contradicts their beliefs and assumptions, according to this thing that was posted. So when we show the Black Swan and we tell you, why is this horizon, which should be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet away, why is it past about 9-10 miles? And that's ignored, and we're told, oh, there's 7 horizons, and we never claimed horizon. We never claimed boats going behind the horizon. Wouldn't that be the Black Swan fallacy, guys? I'm just...
Yeah, but Chocolate, how do you know it's 9-10 miles? That's what I'm asking. How do you know that?
Oil rigs.
Because the platform has been measured on Google Earth with a set distance.
Platform of what?
We know where the oil rigs are. They're not moving. They're in the ground. They're in the seabed. They're at a fixed distance.
Thank you. That wasn't clarified, and if there's new listeners, they have no clue what the Black Swan is.
Either way, we haven't had it presented. If someone wants to present a claim that, no, the reasoning behind the Black Swan argument is fallacious, then they're welcome to come and present that.
So we're saying, well, look, here's one of a million Black Swans that exist. And they're saying, yeah, but that one black swan is faulty. It's like, yeah, but it's one of millions.
Not faulty.
They're not realizing that all you need is one black swan to debunk the notion that all swans are white.
Yeah, that all horizons are Earth curve.
Exactly.
Shout out to the Flat Out Truth. Says some triggering is coming because when the globies realise that the wardrobe is just a closet and Narnia is just the Earth being measured flat forever. Yeah? Look at the super chat. Okay. So, all the flatties in the Discord server. If you want to take that step forward, obviously you've got to have a good idea about what your opponent's going to claim so you can undo it where needed. But ultimately, if you're in this arena and you want to move forward on the front foot, you'll need a flat earth silver bullet to fire. And that silver bullet, in my humble opinion, well, let's be more accurate, in 2024, is the latitude measurement that is absolutely unequivocally flat and required for all of the globe presuppositions that are put into the ether of our domain. So if you want to believe that you're on a sphere, then you've got to wrap flat earth measurements, that's latitude, around that sphere. So you need to measure Earth flat with latitude. What is latitude? Well, it's the circles on the map or on the globe that represent a declination of a star called Polaris towards the horizon as you back away from it. What does that mean? It means that if you were at the North Pole and Polaris was above your head, you'd be on the ground, lying on your back, looking directly up. That is to say, it would be at your zenith. And if you travel 60 nautical miles away from Polaris in any direction, it will drop towards the horizon by 1 degree. 1 degree being a measurement of a flat Earth. So 90 degrees on the ground where you were standing and have moved 60 nautical miles away from now has a 90 degree to your position, with the angle being measured and described as declining towards the horizon at 1 degree. That's 1 degree off a flat Earth. Now you can continue that process out towards the minimum elevation angle of Polaris, otherwise known as the equator. And those series of flat Earth circles form something called the equatorial plane. That is the simultaneous reason I gave earlier for all maps being flat and why these measurements are stretched around a globe so they can be projected onto a tube, cut down the middle and rolled back out flat again. And then you can say, oh, well, we've got a globe projection. But the latitude lines on that globe projection have their origins in an actual measurement of Earth. A flat measurement of a star called Polaris. That system is what we use to navigate with to this day. It's also the system that turns into a globe. Hopefully that's concise enough for anybody who's not heard this. I'm not going to say argument because it isn't. It's a statement of fact. As a flat earther, you don't need to start postulating these things to your opponent. Would you not appreciate that we measure Earth flat for a Polaris-centric system we use called latitude? No, you tell them, we measure Earth flat for latitude. End statement. Because it's a fact, not something up for debate. It's not something that's been inserted by Just So Story. It is a fact that our navigation systems are based on. Flat Earth measurements. Say it loud, say it proud.
I was having this conversation, Nathan, with somebody, exactly what you stated, and their rebuttal was, well, it's got nothing to do with elevation angles. It's all to do with the linear relationship. That's what their rebuttal was to me.
The
They
linear
can just go
relationship,
outside.
the linear relationship of the
Anybody who
angles you're measuring off a flat Earth.
Yeah, anybody who would argue or doubt that that's just a matter of fact, they can go out tonight, find Polaris, and measure an angle to it, and they might be surprised that that's their latitude.
Of course, you'd need a horizontal plane of reference to make that angle measurement. You'll be measuring Earth flat to do it.
Yeah, no curve needed or used whatsoever.
Well, if you've got 90 to you, to your position from the zenith position of Polaris, then it's running along a flat baseline for it to be called an angle. It is ipso facto a flat Earth measurement.
I mean, there's no denying it. I mean, it's there in black and white. It's simple to understand. You can draw it out. You can do it yourself, like you say, if you've got the tools to do it. Go and try it. Don't need curvature. Just need an elevation angle from a horizontal baseline.
Yeah, but it's not like you don't need curvature. It won't work on curvature. Not an angle, then.
Yeah, but to
exactly, Neil.
But to turn the surface into a spherical surface, you first measure these flat Earth angles to Polaris and then stretch them around a ball.
Yeah, that checks out.
Well, no, I mean, you'll need a flat Earth measurement to claim you're on a ball, which you obviously aren't. If you're measuring Earth flat to make that claim, it's absurd to suggest you're actually going to be capable of reifying the flat measurement you took of the surface into a ball to have a spherical surface you didn't measure. It's absurd.
And then they come out with, oh, well, we use a tangent line, which is just a line that is touching one point of a circle or sphere. And we'll point out that, well, you won't be getting 2 ground positions on a tangent line, will you now?
Exactly.
But that's not a tangent, is it?
Well, tangent just begs the question because you're suggesting that you are measuring a flat baseline. You have got ground positions on this line. But that ground position isn't on the ground because there's a dangling sphere beneath that line that's flat that you need for the angle. And the dangling globe Earth isn't used in the measurement or in the assertion of a ground position on that line that isn't the dangling globe beneath it. So they say you need a tangent. And you go, okay, so does it work then? No. Then we must transpose this angle because all light comes in parallel to the centre of the globe. We're going to put this angle in hell on the, what's the word? Equatorial plane? Yeah, because there's an equatorial plane that extends out inside a globe so that you can make people who see it think that you're working on a globe. You're not. You're working on a flat plane inside a completely surplus to requirements globe on the equatorial plane that matches all of the angle measurements to Polaris. Flat. That's what you need to do. If you're going to claim that you're on a globe, you take an angle measurement that doesn't represent the surface with a dingleberry below that measurement of a non-surface with non-GPs on it. Then you transpose those non-surface, non-GPs tangential to a globe that you weren't using to measure into a globe that you didn't measure. So it's back on a plane inside the globe. So it can function again. Justification, all light comes in parallel. That's the justification for it. You're not standing in hell measuring angles, but they only work in a globe because you've got a flat plane in a globe. Well, they just work and measure and function on a plane. There's no conversion needed.
So anywhere they've just got to go anywhere where there's a flat horizontal baseline, basically, to get their angle, because they can't do it from a curved surface. They need a horizontal level baseline to get an elevation angle. So that's where they have to go.
You could just use any level. You could establish level with a tool because all horizontals run parallel with one another. And the parallel to the surface is the bit that we can utilize because of that fact. Because when you establish level is level where you are and at 90 degrees to that position, directly below the ground, or directly above, with the ground position directly below. Get that in the right order. But that's only because horizontals function as they function and we know them to function geometrically. All parallel. So therefore, once you establish a level, that point that you measure with the star, same exact angle measurement, is parallel to the ground below it and can operate as a ground position. It's only going to ever function because Earth is flat. It's the only way it can function, does function, was measured, is used to this day. Flat.
Right, and what's the funny thing about a sphere? There are no flat surfaces on a sphere.
Right. Earth is measured flat. This becomes most amusing when a globo opponent puts forth an idea that they can prove sphericity, and immediately they will start with a flat Earth measurement of some description. And we will obviously stop them in their tracks and say, you've just used a flat Earth measurement to achieve your claim to be globe proofsy. At that point, they've got two choices. Choice number one, relinquish or deny/decry the measurement they just appealed to as not being a measurement or not being to do with the surface of Earth. In which case, how can you claim this proves a globe surface if the measurement itself has nothing to do with the surface and potentially isn't even a measurement? That's what they may put to you. Well, if it's not a measurement, it's not got to do with Earth, you're not going to be proving Earth's a sphere with it, are you? That's option one. Option two, I accept as a globe believer that this measurement I must use measures Earth flat. So I can take that flat Earth measurement and make my globe claim with it. Yes, I accept it's the ground we're measuring. Yes, I accept it's flat. Now let me make my globe claim. Why are you stopping me? I need to make my globe claim now. No, we're stopping you because you just measured Earth flat. Now we don't need to hear your globe claim. It's either relinquish the claim that you absolutely require that has a flat Earth measurement as part of it to make your globe claim, in which case you can't make your claim, or accept that your claim measures Earth flat, in which case there's no need to make your globe claim because you just proved Earth is measured flat. Those are the two choices they leave themselves with currently in 2024.
So latitude is derived from altitude. Notice how there's a similarity there, which when you measure an altitude will be derived from a horizontal baseline or sea level.
Yeah.
Nathan, that's not fair. You're not giving them any room to breathe.
They don't have any room to breathe. They measure a flat Earth and then infer that they're standing on a sphere with it.
Yeah, but then, see, that's where they go then. We want to talk about gravity. We want to talk about the lights in the sky and the southern hemisphere. No, you're not talking about that because we've got latitude, we've got mapping, we've got reference grids, yeah, for navigation, and it's all measured flat. There's no conversations to be had after that because it's flat and it's measured like that.
Yeah, if the duration of our time here while we're live ends up being just us reiterating the fact that Earth is measured flat for everyone without any challenge whatsoever from globe believers, then that's absolutely fine by me.
No stress.
Yeah, globe believers. Latitude is a flat Earth elevation angle measurement. Just been explained to you how it's done. That's how all mapping works, how our grid system works, navigation system works. The Earth is flat.
Jeez, one day, just rub in a little more.
Yeah, absolutely rub it in all day long. On the front foot, making the positive assertion with absolutely no rebuttal whatsoever. What are you going to do? Relinquish your need for a flat Earth measurement when you describe the heights of things? No, you'll definitely give those heights off sea level and then start making your globe claim with them. We'll stop you, point out that you've measured an Earth that's flat to give you your height with respect to a horizontal plane we describe as sea level. If those heights above a flat Earth are to be accepted as true to make your globe claim, then we've just taken heights off a flat Earth. End of argument.
Yeah, but how does that work on a flat Earth?
With the flat Earth angles or heights that we described, or the globe in this instance described when they started their claim, Chocolate. That's how it works on a flat Earth, with the measurements you first took from a flat Earth.
Nah, but if I use the word localized plane, I'm going to ask you, how does that work on a flat Earth?
As a localized plane.
Damn it.
Yeah.
There are no localized planes on a sphere.
Yeah, but you will need one to reference and get flat from to start making height corrections, adjustments, dip, angle measurements. Anything to do with measuring Earth will absolutely unequivocally require a horizontal plane of reference to be Earth, because that's what it is.
I'm just curious.
See, right there.
I know I've said this before. I'm just curious. Have the Globers who have conceded that it's too big to measure the curve, so yeah, we measure it flat. Have they had a discussion with the other Globers on the same side who say, yeah, we definitely measure curvature and we definitely see curvature and stuff like that? Have they had that discussion between themselves yet? Or maybe I missed it. I don't know.
No, they'll never contradict themselves. I mean, even when it's blatant, they'll never correct their friends like that.
Yeah, that happened on the Earth Awakenings debate I had. So on Earth Awakenings, I was there with Patrick, and one globe proponent is suggesting Earth so big no Earth curve to be noticed or seen or measured. The other saying, look at Lake Pontchartrain, look how visible and obvious the Earth curve is that we see in this image. And you're like, so which is it? Earth so big not to be noticed, or here it is in this photo?
You see, that's why I asked the question, because it's still relevant. Matter of fact, it's very relevant. You said this just happened. Yeah. This seems to be something very important that you ball believers might want to get to the crux of, because you can't have one side, a bunch of y'all telling us it's too big. That's why we measure it flat. We can't see the curvature. We just know it's curved, right? And then you got other ones saying, yeah, we measure curves on the same side. So, like,
I mean,
that doesn't.
Your concern is for the anti-flat earthers and how they need to get their story straight after they start relinquishing major aspects of their Earth curve claim, because Earth curve is claimed to be 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet as per the Earth curve maths. Them saying we can't see it because it's too big, or because they inevitably need to measure Earth flat to make that claim. Same goes for the Earth curve maths. That needs Earth to be flat to make the claim that there's a deviation from the horizontal plane of reference, labelled in the maths as surface level. Yeah, surface level, that's flat, needed to make the Earth curve maths work. But the anti-flat earthers, yeah, they can argue amongst themselves while they start decrying things like 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. The ones that tell us that's a straw man, for example. Who's flat deck? Hey, flat deck. Are you one deck?
Yeah, it's me one day. I just changed my name to Flat Deck because everything's flat, mate.
I mean, it would be a hell of a thing for that to be the current status of Globers, that it's too big to measure curve. Because, like we brought up before, like Pontchartrain, right? I mean, what are you guys trying to do? You're trying to disappoint Soundly, who was the guy that took the picture of curvature, as we were told like 8 years ago. This is the guy that's got picture of curvature of a lake that was supposedly built as a monument to the curve of the Earth. That's literally a quote we've been told, right? So how did my man get a picture of the Earth curve? But yeah, in 2024, we got people telling us it's too big to see the curve. Thanks.
That stuff is flat.
You can't see the curvature of the Earth at 120,000 feet.
Yeah, 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet is what the actual rhetorical claim of a globe Earth has. We debunked it with the Black Swan, because if the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959, then every distance to horizon could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, exactly as laid down in their Earth curve maths. Distance to horizon in the Black Swan, beyond the limitations of a geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet like maths they use, say it will be, and is not. Therefore, the horizon's not an Earth curve edge for boats to fall over. Earth's not a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles.
But even in that Earth curve calculator, Nathan, when I look at it, it's like a straight line of sight parallel to the surface level, which is trying to tell you how it's working curvature out. And then it shows the horizon below surface level, which I find quite bizarre. Don't know if any glober can explain that.
Yeah, it's the flat Earth they need.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that. The globe's flat. It was measured like that.
Yeah, a hijacking of perspective calculation that suggests when you see the side of your own head and an object in the distance on the same plane, without perspective included in the mathematics, then if you utilise the actual observable plane at sea level, called surface level in that maths, and understand implicitly that eye level runs parallel with the surface level, then you can extract out the perspective view you actually get and call it Earth curve and place it below the surface level you needed to measure to infer there's a point below the surface level in these maths. You can then say my mathematical derivation of a calculation that takes surface level and eye level parallel with one another and suggests that the difference gives you a point below surface level we call Earth curve, and we'll suggest that the horizon you use to potentially calibrate or level your tool with is now a point below the surface level you just calibrated it with, called Earth curve. That's how their Earth curve maths actually works.
So
With
it's
a flat
not
plane.
actually an Earth curve calculator, it's actually an Earth level calculator. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, it's an optical resolution loss calculation in an orthographic view. That's what it actually is. It's not Earth curve. They've just relabeled optical resolution loss as Earth curve.
And now we have to change the definition of level so that level equals curve, so it makes sense.
No, it doesn't. No, we can't do that. If we change the definition of level to mean curved or comporting to the outside edge of a sphere, equidistant from its centre point, then level won't function in their Earth curve maths because they need surface level to comport with geometric principles and axioms that dictate that level is level, and having no part higher or lower than another is absolutely required for Earth curve maths to make the extrapolation based on surface level. Now, if level isn't level, they haven't got a level to describe a difference from. You need level to be level so you can describe how curved the deviation from that level you're using to describe it with is. So level can't be equidistant from the centre of a sphere, comporting to the outside edge of anything, or you haven't got an axiom to describe how much deviation you've got from the axiom you've just relinquished. Level is having no part higher or lower than another. Not equidistant from a sphere. That's nonsense. It defies the axiomatic principle used in Earth curve maths.
Yeah, they don't think that one through, Nathan.
We can thank refracted curvature for pointing out that paradox. RC's paradox, I named it. Nathan, did you see Lotus Eaters this morning about their video about celebrities?
No? What about them?
Have you been watching that channel, by the way?
What's it called?
So it's something to do with celebrities. It was released this morning, and it was about how celebrities, when they were growing up, say in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, were in a tighter social bandwidth. So they talk about topics within that bandwidth, whereas now the trust is so been so abused that even people like Robbie Williams, Liam Gallagher, they would talk about how celebrities nowadays would just go off the rails and say the most crazy things because there's so little trust in the media, in big pharma, and in institutions around the world. And they said how it wouldn't surprise them if all of the celebrities they named, which was Morrissey, Robbie Williams, Jim Carrey. An example they gave was Jim Carrey, somebody who played Ace Ventura, an idiot, effectively, is now giving profound speeches. He's now a born-again Christian, and he's going around doing God's work. And this is a sign of the times. And it wouldn't surprise them if all of them were the flat earthers. And they said that without ridicule. You know, they said that in a position where you could understand if they were, because of how, well, everything's wrong. Everything's a lie, so the earth must be flat. That's how the conclusion they came to, the hosts of that political
It's happening,
show.
man. It's being normalised. That's an example like we gave yesterday on the show, right? Where somebody just discusses it offhand without ridicule, and then the people listening go, "Oh, it's cool to just know that now. Oh, I don't have to lie about knowing it's flat. Oh, cool."
Yeah, they said it so
Paradigm has
brazenly.
shifted.
See, it's shifting. It's taken 10 years, Neil.
No, it's shifted. I give it 5.
5 more years. Regardless.
Yes, 5 more years, and then people are going to talk about it like it's normal. Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
We're moving flat.
Maybe. My aspirations aren't so lofty. I would hope that the people in our immediate social circle, and I count obviously this Discord server as though it's that, to understand and appreciate how Earth is measured flat, so that they don't have to stress about it. In the last 10 years, there's been nothing but flat Earth belief. Now we've got something we can say, no, you can take every single example of how Earth is measured to flatness. So you don't have to stress. You can get on with your day now. You know it's flat now. You just believed it up until now.
Yeah, I was so
that's
grateful.
my point. Well, hold on a second. That's my point. With what we're saying here, you can't deny measurements. So I give it 5 years.
Yeah, I was so grateful in 2020 when I came here, because this was the first show where I heard the term Earth radius. I've been listening to Flat Earth nearly up to a year at that point, listening to Dell and David Weiss and many others, and I hadn't heard Earth radius before. That's where I knew this was serious. This place was that you're actually getting into the geometry and the claims and not speculation or what it could be, what it couldn't be. It was spine
How
tingling.
funny. Sorry, man. How funny that 2020 is the year that the radius got debunked. Black Swan.
And 2024 was the year we exposed Earth is measured flat.
It's such a shame, though, like Sensual saying, you know, it's a shame that it takes celebrities to start realising the truth before that your Joe Public will go, well, if they believe it now, I can actually start saying I believe it. When you've already been presented with the facts of the matter of latitude, maps, grid systems, navigation, it's measured flat. You don't need a celebrity now to tell you to go ahead and believe that. The evidence is right in front of you. Now start standing up for yourself.
They haven't been presented that. They've been presented that flat Earth is conspiracy, tinfoil hat, Mandela effect. So that's not what they haven't been presented with what's presented here.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly that. Hence my opener to this Discord server. Our purpose in being here is to tell you, move forward on the front foot and know Earth's measured flat. Here's some examples for you to go on with. So that you don't have to say, we see too far, inferring that there's a globe edge that should be in the way. It's like you're responding to their claim. You're not proving anything with it. You're offering up them the opportunity to put you in a false dichotomy. Maybe explain what perspective is. No. You don't need to even get anywhere near the globe claim. That's their job. As long as you understand how Earth is measured, flat, and further to that, if you're going to debate, understand how the globe measurements come from, let's rephrase that, the globe calculations come from those flat Earth measurements, then you're going to be in good standing to debate people. But if you don't want to engage in debate, and you come along to a discussion like this, and you're just like, oh, I'm a bit wary of this, it seems very conspiratorial, and you get here and we go, that's how all the measurements are done. This is how latitude's measured. This is why all the maps are flat. That's why the grid system functions. That's how circles of equal elevation work. You'll go, oh, right. And the globe's based on them? Yeah, all these flat Earth measurements. They have to back engineer.
It takes all that noise, Nathan. It takes all that noise that comes with it and all that baggage, and it puts it to one side, allows you to view it objectively.
Yeah. It's not about whether or not we got clone centres or Mandela effect, or whether or not 9/11 was an inside job, or whether or not Big Pharma are lying to you about vaccines. All of those things have nothing to do with the actual subject that we cover. We cover the nature of reality and how Earth is measured. It's flat. All other extraneous claims of a designed shape for a sphere that you're not standing on will come from those origins. Once you know that, you can go, I'm not going to be hesitant when someone asks me, oh, are you one of those flat earthers? Well, you can call me that if you like. Earth is measured flat.
Latitude comes from altitude.
Heights above sea level. We've been giving it them for 10 years. They start their examples of a globe claim with elevations and elevation angles that are with respect to a flat plane. They'll describe the height of a mountain off sea level. Yeah, that's
people are so afraid of this, the measurement of flat Earth. I was in the 24/7 Discord the other night explaining how we observe, measure, navigate flat Earth. And, after explaining it, nobody wanted to know how the measurement was taken. They wanted to talk about the moon and tides and a bunch of other things. They're not interested in the measurement. It's too scary.
Yeah, because it kills them.
Go up into space, get away from the Earth. Let's talk about the sky. We don't want to talk about the measurement of the Earth because we're going to have to talk about horizontal, elevation angles, altitude, latitude. and anything else that's level, straight, and horizontal and parallel.
Yeah, in
Or
2024.
up into space.
Go ahead,
do
Brian.
that on
Then
the
there's
globe.
someone from Discord. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm saying up into space. You can't do that on a globe.
Nope, can't have up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
up.
true.
Perpendicular to a plane of reference. They don't have that. There's lots of things they don't have. And like I say, we've given it them for the last 10 years for some of us. They start with flat Earth measurements and then move on to claiming their globe with those flat Earth measurements. Was there someone in Discord that wanted to add something?
Oh yeah, I was just curious. What was their reference for measuring tides? Different than Nathan's. How did they measure tides?
With respect to a flat Earth.
Right.
They weren't actually talking about measuring tides. They were going to talk about gravity and tides.
Oh, they were. Oh no, you don't mean tides as in how we would measure things. You're talking about how they would assume we've got an R value derived from the minimum elevation angle to Polaris, so it can back calculate itself onto a globe from a flat plane measurement. We then take that R value inference of a sphere surface that was measured flat and put it into an orbital motion around the sun. And then the moon are in orbit around the Earth. And then we say that there's a gravitational attraction between masses which creates the tides. Yeah, you're going to need quite a few flat Earth measurements to get you to those orbital motions to infer that tides are being caused by a force that isn't a force that you can think of as a force in a model that was derived from flat Earth measurements. It's just going to need flat Earth measurements to make that claim.
What model?
The mean of all tides is mean sea level.
Shout out to us so far for hitting the super chat. Nathan just made a good point. So the Earth is measured flat, but the globe can only be calculated into a sphere since it can't be measured. Awesome. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I'm glad you liked it. We've been saying it since 1st of January. No, it's good.
A lot longer than that.
We have been saying a lot longer than that. It's just, you know, if I say, well, we first started hearing about how we acquire areas of equal elevation and do dip correction 3 years ago, with Brian telling me off that I didn't understand it, I can't really say we've been talking about this for 3 years. Now, you could blame me and say, well, you can't just ascribe it to 2024 because that's when you finally understood it. Well, actually, yes, I can. And yes, I have. That's exactly what I've done.
So, like Brian's been saying, and this is where they get dipped out. Dip correction is a height above sea level, isn't it, Brian?
You said
that's
dips
the
out?
first thing they will do.
You said this is where you get
before they get in the boat, before they go navigating, before they get a fix, before they take the elevation angle, they'll be measuring a height above sea level.
Did you say dips out?
Yeah, I'm saying the globers will dip out. You know, they dip out, don't they?
Dips out for the lads.
Hey.
You can only win arguments when you mute people, Nathan.
Sorry, Brenda. I've asked the server operators to remove you because you suggested that I should have my children taken away from me. Yeah, so I've asked the server moderators to remove you from any further discussions with myself because you're scum.
Latitude from altitude, Brenda. Go and chew on that.
Don't even respond to her.
No, I'll explain for the audience's benefit that, you know, if you suggest that I should have my children removed from me, I'm not going to want to talk to you.
That seems legit to me. I wouldn't want to talk to someone like that either.
Yeah, even in a server that I have absolutely no control over, I literally have to verbally say, can one of the moderators please remove this person who has suggested I have my children removed from me? She's suggesting, before I said that all I can do to win is mute people. When I've got no control over the mute button in this server, it's not my server.
Well, that's what they've got to do, Nathan. That's what she's doing. She's not coming in now. We've been talking for a good hour, half an hour. Nobody's interrupted us. We're explaining about flat Earth measurements, latitude, altitude, horizontal, elevation angles, sea level, no proof of curvature whatsoever. and the first globe that comes in, you can only win when you meet people, Nathan. I mean, you could be coming in stronger than that, Brenda.
Yeah, but look, Nathan has no control over that. She debunked herself.
But it's just a disservice tactic. So let's forget about that loser anyway. We're on a good topic. We're telling it. We're describing it all correctly. We don't need losers like that. If anyone wants to come in and say that we're incorrect, please do so.
For the audience sake, Brenda was muted the minute she entered the room. Yeah, she's been sitting here muted for the last hour and a half, so it had nothing to do with Nathan at all.
Yeah, the problem was as soon as she joined, she was muted, and we got complacent because there's a timer on the mute. It's a 40-minute timer, and I had simply forgot to refresh it. In the past, I had toggled it on and off to constantly just
delete him.
Yeah, so I'll take. That's my fault. I should have. I normally toggle it like every 20 minutes, so it always stays at 40 minutes until you leave, and then just let it go.
I wouldn't worry about that. It was good to hear from Brenda and all our globe proof again.
Yeah, it was good to hear the boundary too. How she will not simply respect the boundary. No, thank you. When Nathan's here, you are told no, thank you, and she can't even respect that.
I mean, just
with
going
reason.
back to what we said earlier, Brenda's a typical one. I had a conversation with her the other week, and her proof was, well, boats disappear over the horizon. Yeah, that is where she is with globe proof. Well, what else?
In 2024?
What else could it be? What else could it be? You know, it's got to be Earth curve. It's got to be a globe. What else could it be? I mean, this is what we're up against.
Yeah, so offer up an affirm.
So in 2024, they're still saying boats disappear over the horizon. Wow.
Yes, it's a slightly expanded version of an affirming the consequent. If I suggest that Earth is a sphere with a hill that blocks your view, then Earth curve maths will match what I suggest. Earth curve maths matches what I suggest, therefore the horizon is a hill getting in the way. That's an affirming the consequent fallacy. Now, why is it a fallacy? Well, because the statement that you've used to suggest that P will be preceded or will be followed by Q isn't necessarily true. So to affirm that statement by offering up a different standard, in this case, a matching of a maths with an observation, when the maths doesn't match the observation, it's an orthographic view, it can never match. But to suggest that because it does, that affirms the consequent that we have an Earth curve edge for a horizon. That's what they've offered. What Brenda has done by your example is then say, what else could cause it? Well, that invites you to enter into a false dichotomy. I'll suggest that perspective... No. You're not making a positive claim about this. Their positive claim affirms the consequent. So that's it. That's the end of their fallacious reasoning.
Nathan, I don't think you understand. There is a high degree of refracted blockage, not blocking anything.
Well, not Earth curve then.
Well, what else could have caused it?
But if it's not Earth curve, you've just said it's something other than Earth curve, Brian. If it's not a hill getting in the way, then it's not a hill getting in the way. You're saying there's a refraction. Okay, so it's not a physical hill getting in the way then. Like the Earth curve math says.
What else could have caused it?
Who cares? The Earth curve math says a hill gets in the way, and it doesn't.
What else could have caused it?
Yeah, you're not going to win with this. I'm going to force you into a false dichotomy, as fun as it is for the third repetition. I did it at the beginning of the show in the pre-show with the guy who did it 9 times, Brian. You must offer an alternative explanation so I can debunk that in a false dichotomy.
But
Nathan, one second, Brian. But Nathan, what else could have caused it?
Very, very funny.
But see, this is the thing. This is, I won't even say it. I mean, I'm only just stating the obvious.
No, you go ahead. Reiterate it. Good point.
Well, they constantly want to ask us, what else could have caused it? It's like a curved shadow on the moon. What else could have caused it? What shadow? How did you validate it was a shadow? How did you validate that the moon was even a sphere? How did you validate anything? What else could have caused it? That's all they got.
state their position, invite you to offer an alternative explanation, and then we've got my version versus your version. Now, let's say you offer up your version of perspective, and it's found to be lacking, then they win. Oh, well, it still stands to reason that my affirming the consequent that if Earth curve, then globe maths, therefore Earth curve stands, because you couldn't explain perspective as an alternative, therefore I win.
No, they lose immediately. Because with only 3 miles of distance, it's proven that our curve does not exist.
Black Swan.
And, well, it's proven that our curve does not exist because perspective does, with 3 miles.
Yeah, you can do that if you want to take it to the absolute stone cold fact that perspective is excluded in the maths. And you can prove that very easily by pointing out some of the maths, like the heights of a mountain taken off a flat plane. This mountain is 1,000 feet off sea level with respect to a flat Earth. Therefore, in my Earth curve maths, there should be 500 feet missing with respect to a flat plane and sea level. Okay, so the 500 feet and 1,000 feet that you've labelled is going to be the same value regardless if the mountain's 1,000 miles away, 5,000 miles away, 5 million miles away. It's still 1,000 feet, right? Oh, yeah. Well, then it's not had the effects of perspective taken into consideration. That makes your argument void. All your calculations for Earth curve are begging the question, that's to say they automatically assume a sphere with a radius value taken from a flat Earth. Proof of nothing, that is to say it's begging the question. Perspective hijacking, that is to say they take the effects that we see in reality of perspective and call them Earth curve. Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, Nathan, I thought you were after finishing your statement. That's what I came in. Using the rule of disqualification, an observer with their eyeballs, they're at sea level, sorry, at the water level, I won't use sea level for this, at the water level on a globe, with a boat that sails away from them, that the boat is 6 feet off of the water and sails away from them 3 miles, that boat will disappear due to our curve. Now, that's on a globe. On a flat plane, an observer with their eye level at their eyeballs at sea level, watching a 6 foot boat, 6 foot high boat off the water, sailing away from them for 3 miles, that boat will also disappear, but it's due to angular resolution. So that means that we can either say it's our curve, we can say it's perspective, or we could say it's a bit of both. So if we say, well, does our curve and perspective exist together? Well, using the maths, right, it would mean that 6 foot boat for the observer, if we were on a globe and our curve and perspective existed simultaneously, that boat has to disappear at 1.8 miles away. But that boat, that 6 foot boat for the observer with the rise at the water level, won't disappear in either scenario until 3 miles. So that means either our curve exists or angular size change exists. We know angular size change exists, so that disqualifies our curve completely.
Yeah, it's fine when you formulate it into that level of logical consistency, Brian. It's just most of the time people on the flat Earth don't formulate it into that level of logical consistency. They just say, oh, well, it could be perspective. Without all the qualifiers you've offered, you're not taking it to that place where you're suggesting that you can't have both simultaneously exist at the same time. It doesn't work. Therefore, you're only left with a true dichotomy. It's either perspective or Earth curve. And we can't have it work with perspective if we include Earth curve, and perspective is absolutely without question real. The assertion of Earth curve comes without perspective, automatically excluding it from being a description of reality. But it needs a lot of caveats, doesn't it?
They've seen the boat. Sorry, mate. They've seen the boat sail away. They thought, well, why is it disappearing? It gets further away. It must be Earth curve. Now let's go and measure it. And how did they measure it? Yeah, using horizontal, flat Earth, elevation, angle, baseline, and sea level. Now that isn't any evidence of curvature whatsoever. That's angle measurement, elevation angle measurements. Yeah. So the presumption was wrong. It's just been proved to be wrong because when they went to measure it, it was flat.
Sure, but in actuality, the antidote, if you will, to an affirming the consequent fallacy is modus tollens. Yeah, that's the logic where if you state that if P then Q, that automatically takes that statement is true from the outset. Like when people say we're begging the question with modus tollens, no, we're taking your statement that must be true. That's if there is a sphere edge for a horizon, if Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959, then every distance can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, because that's what you say it is. That's your if P, then Q. So if that's true, you then take the antithesis of the statement, the contrapositive statement, not P, therefore not Q, or not Q, therefore not P. So not the distance in the Earth curve maths, that's the black swan image, therefore not a physical hill getting in the way. You have to eat it. If you're going to say Earth has a sphere edge, then Earth has a sphere edge at a set distance and it's a hill blocking your view. The moment you show it isn't a hill blocking your view, it isn't an Earth curve edge. That's how modus tollens works.
If Earth's a globe of radius 3959 miles, then perspective can't exist. Perspective does exist, so Earth's not a globe of radius 3959 miles.
Perfect.
Yes,
yeah.
Brian.
Yeah. An oversimplified modus tollens, which doesn't need an example. With the black swan, there's obviously it's a labour of love on QE's part to formulate it into consistency with an evidentiary standard and demarcation for distance to prove the point. Yours is self-contained and just speaks for itself.
Yeah, mine is purely based around optics and mathematics.
Yeah.
Disproven.
Still sound.
Disqualifying.
Yeah, perfectly sound. Absolutely. Correct. We haven't had a single baller in this live show, I don't think.
Hold on. Can Brian repeat that?
Yeah, and if Earth's a globe of radius 3,959 miles, then perspective can't exist. Perspective does exist, so Earth's not a globe of radius 3,959 miles.
So I dropped the Master B, especially since we're kind of on the subject of where they go when their globe math doesn't quite actually work out for them. I dropped in Master B old clip, and being that we're in 24/7 politics, shout out to Indio.
Disappearing 500 feet when the globe model predicts the horizon is 2,600 feet away. So what's blocking the boat if it's not at the horizon yet?
See anything blocking the boat. I see the resolution. I see the camera being unable to resolve the boat.
Oh, welcome to Flat Earth.
Welcome to Flat Earth, my friend. Snacks to the back, bathrooms to the left, DJs taking requests, and smoke them if you got them.
With that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So, another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on an after show, and I will see you all in the next video.